Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I am Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. What's up, guys? Let's do this. Welcome to Live Inside Scoop. This is cool.
Yeah, this is the first time we've ever gone live. It'd be kind of cool. So, as we're live here, we're gonna go live for the first 30 minutes, and we're gonna do our show like normal. But what we really would love is interaction and feedback from you guys, the listeners.
Hey, Mike, how you doing, man? I got it on my phone here so I can see what the comments
you can
are
see a
and
little
stuff.
bit?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay.
that way we can any questions we get that people want to know about, we can bring that up because we've been wanting to do a Q&A session for a while now, and I think this is a great time to do it. So
Yeah, that would be cool. People can ask like how I feel about when the two of us have disagreements when I'm always right.
oh yeah, and when you always lose, any kind of any bet or
Don't get
anything
into the
like that.
fantasy
Yeah.
draft. That
So
was
yeah,
don't. I was sabotaged by a million times
but
in that.
well, everyone is these days. So all right. So anyways,
Oh my goodness.
yeah.
So wait, how was your St. Patrick's Day?
Wait, that was yesterday, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
It was crazy.
It was different, right? Had to be different.
Dude, there was marches in the street and there was parties outside. Oh wait, none of that happened. But no, it was different, man. It's just is what it is. Some people. It was cool to see some of the families that use it as a time. Like some of my students, they did cool things like searching for gold coins and stuff like that, and they showed it on Facebook. And was a cool way where they do something fun with their kids and had them, like searching for the leprechaun's gold and things like that. So that was fun to see that part because honestly, some of my students and my staff that were in to do stuff yesterday. They were like, "Oh wait, it's St. Patrick's Day." Yeah, it is.
Man,
Yeah.
see,
I know.
what's interesting is so many people in America have Irish descent because Irish Americans are so integral to the development of the United States as a nation,
Yes.
right? And so, there was at times when they were coming into New York, it was just they were coming in droves every single day. But that was, like a couple hundred years ago. So I'm just curious: do you have Irish descent at all?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, I do.
talk to me.
Oh, I don't have much. I have a little bit, but
I'm always curious about that. Like, do you know what your heritage is? How far back it goes? I don't know.
Yeah, no. So it's a little bit from my grandpa's. So my grandma on my dad's side, so my mom's mom, had Irish descent. The rest was, Doss is a German name, so that's where a lot of that came from. And then
So is Dingman.
Yeah. So and then my mother's side is mostly French. So yeah.
Dope.
What's up, Chris? How you doing, man? What's up, Mike?
My grandmother was from Clontarf, Ireland, which is like an area of Dublin. So I actually got a chance to go see. There's a castle in Clontarf.
Yeah, that's right.
So I got a chance to go see it. It was actually pretty dope. When you go, like, I didn't know. My mom is from Sicily. My mom's from Catania, Sicily.
Yeah.
And my dad's mother is from Clontarf, Ireland, and I think my great-great-grandfather is from Stuttgart, Germany. No, Frankfurt, Germany. So it's interesting. So on St. Patrick's Day, we have kind of a thing that we do. So I got a chance to, what do you do?
Yeah.
You have corned beef. But there's a movie I watch, like around the time of year. It's called Michael Collins. Michael Collins is integral to the independence of Ireland, which apparently has only been a nation since 1916. All right.
Wow.
Well, they've been a nation. They were always under English rule, and now they're not even totally under. It's really wild once you think about it. You really realize the Irish people that really were persecuted for just the longest time. And we're not able to have their own independence. It's wild. So to all my Irish friends, happy St. Patrick's Day.
There you go. Happy St. Patrick's Day. So let's see. Do you want to just get into some of the different things that we want to talk about? Let's get into just training at home. That's the big topic right now.
Yep.
Let's not get into the other part, like the internet part of it yet. We can get into that later. But
Right.
let's talk about training at home. What has, because I've shared before that honestly for 10 years that was the only way I trained was at home.
That's so wild.
So,
and you know what? People should really look at this. People should, like, when you're like, oh, there's no one to train with, or I don't really have all the equipment. You should just look at this. Jeff Doss is a dang world champion. He's all right. You put yourself number 2 on the list, and one of the people you put on the top kickers list said you should have been above them. He said you should have been number 1. All right. So if you really think about it, like, if people are saying like, I can't really do this, there's no one to train with, you have no excuse. If Jeff Doss is doing it at home by himself for 10 years, you got no excuse.
Right.
I mean,
so
I ain't wrong.
No, I know. And that's why when my students say that or whatever, like, I try not to throw it in their face, because the first response, but that's you, and
I hate that.
I hate hearing that. Yeah. But Chris, same thing, man. We got to always train at home, because this is what I always tell my students is, you are taught in the dojo or whatever from your instructor, but you train what you learn at home. So coming to class is not practice or training. That is learning. The training happens after you learned it. So, like, that's how it gets better. So then the next week when you're ready to learn again, you have grown from where you were the week before. But if that's the only time that you train or do anything is when you learn so constantly, you're not actually working on your craft. So
it was interesting. I was having a conversation with someone today, and we were just talking about, like, what are we going to do now as a group? And I said, well, there isn't going to be a group. there's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we talked about some of the details, and one of the things I brought up, I said, starting to become a realization of just how lucky we had it.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, we did. We really were lucky. We were really lucky. And it's at times like this where you realize, man, I had it made, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you think about the people you were with and the opportunities that you had. And something like this really makes us feel a little bit more fortunate. Like, okay, well, now what? What do we do now? Stop dwelling on that. What do we do moving forward?
Right.
And so that's kind of the stuff that we talked about. And so when you were talking about, that's what you like, you train weekly in this, once a week or however often a week in the school, and then you really do that at home. So I understood at a young age, or young into training, martial arts training, like, this is a awesome thing to be able to go to the karate school. Well, it just so happened that, like, being fortunate, I was fortunate to live just about a mile from the National Karate School in my town. Right?
Yes.
How lucky is that, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I would walk there. All right.
That's cool.
I would just walk there every day. And after a while, people started to get annoyed. They're like, "Do you have anywhere to go? Like, don't you have a home?" And I was like, "Yeah, but I like it here more."
Yeah.
That ain't anything wrong with my home life, because there wasn't anything wrong with my home life.
Yeah.
It's just like, we're all doing karate here.
Yeah.
What could be better than that?
Yeah.
What could be better than that?
Exactly.
So I would just go. All right. And I would just sit in the lobby sometimes and watch when they had big classes, and when they didn't, and I was like, room for me to do something on the side, I would do that. And if there was a class I could join in with, I would do that. And at the time, what the instructors said is, they said, okay, you could take one of your classes, or you can even take a class lower than you. All right. So if you're like a blue belt, you could take like a green belt class, et cetera, because you wanted to. So I would just do that. So there would be times where I'd just be there all freaking day.
Yeah.
Right.
Man.
And to the point where they were just like, do you want to just be an assistant instructor? I mean, you're here anyway. All right. So yeah, that's just what it is. So when this all goes to pass, those martial arts schools better be flooded. Everybody better be in them. But they're not right now. So let's talk about, what are some of the in-home things that you do or that you did? What are some of those in-home training things that were big for you?
So for me, going back to what you were talking about, it was the same thing for me. I wasn't close. I actually lived about 30 minutes to 40 minutes away from my karate school growing up. That was just the way it was. That was the reason why I opened my school in my town, because I wanted to give the people what I didn't have, right?
You wanted to find the next Jeff Doss.
Right. So, anyways, I, my mom would, right after school, go there. She would drop me off, and I would train for 2 hours before classes started, and then waited around, kind of like you said, either help with class or waited till the next class, hang out. It's just different. And honestly, even now in the situation before that, martial arts is different than when you and I were growing up in the way the schools are. So, for me, at that time, home training was like before class training. Then you did your class. Then a lot of times it was after class training. And then, you know what? You would stretch at home, or you would do whatever it was. So, I did all kinds of crazy stuff, man. I mean, I made sure. So John Valera was big on plyometrics and, squat jumps and different things like that. So I had a routine.
Well, he's a pretty dang explosive guy.
Right. So that was why we worked those. And I had a routine of things to do. Either it would be standing in my house or along the hallway that I would do those squat front kicks across the room, squat jumps, calf jumps across the room. So that was something there. Also had plenty of room to do stuff outside. So I would go and do those same things outside. I would work my sections outside. So if you don't know what we talked before, for forms, you would break your form down to 4 sections or 3 sections. It just depends. And work those back to back to back and over and over and over and work those. As I got older, I also came up with different ways to so I would throw a bunch of bricks and wood and dumbbells in a wheelbarrow, right?
Oh,
and I would and I would do sprints with the wheelbarrow.
I thought you were going a different direction with that for a moment. Oh my goodness.
So,
okay. I don't want to distract.
Yeah, so I put them in a wheelbarrow, and I had plenty of room, and I would run with that, right? Now, wasn't talking about a straight, level field. It was going up and down and everything like that. So it was really working my control, which was good for my kicking, good for my stances, good for just my base. I would do it pushing, and then I would turn around on the way back, and I would do it pulling. So I would have to, hold my shoulders up while I'd be running or walking or whatever. But it just finding different ways to do stuff, especially out in the country. You can find all kinds of things to do. One of the cool things I remember, one thing that Mike Chat told me that I do remember that helped me was, hey, you have a cornfield that's right behind you. Go out there and start jumping over them every day. And guess what? Every week it gets higher and higher and higher. And you
get jumping over what?
Like the corn
stalk?
Yeah, from the very beginning, right?
Those things are like 7.5 feet tall.
Yeah. You never get that tall. But he's talking about in the beginning, right? That was what he told me. Not once again. No. But yeah, I mean, there's always ways to do it. Even now,
it's just that stuff. Like only country guys who know. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
But yeah, man, just get you a good wheelbarrow and you'll be good.
That's all right. See, with me, it was a little different. So I was never in the country. Right. I was always just outside of the city. All right. So I'm just like the suburbs right next to the hood. Right. So that's where, not fully hood, but just outside of the hood. So it was weird. It's like there was not doing anything outside in Minnesota. We were not doing that. That was not ever going to happen.
Come on, man! You got to be like Rocky, and
that's make believe.
Rocky 4, man.
Yeah, it was funny. I actually watched Rocky like this last weekend, but no, never mind. All right, we'll talk about that another time. How Rocky and I actually have a lot in common. But no. Anyway,
next time.
Right. So training.
Carmichael just said, sections with 20-pound weight vests plus ankle weights and plyo bands. Yes, that was something they always
huge.
Did. Yeah.
And then doing it with no pauses at the end at one point. That'll make you throw up. You do that 3 times fast with no pauses. Yeah. Get ready to throw up.
That's right.
But the training, so it's hard. It can be hard when you're just training for fighting training, right? So because
it's all drills, yeah.
It can be drills, but the hard part is sometimes you need some feedback. So you have to get creative. When it's just yourself, you have to get creative at times. Yeah. Right? So, but I will say some of the best training I had was when I broke my leg. I broke my right leg. I was playing basketball. I just moved to Illinois. All right. And I don't know why this 5'11" guy decided he loves playing power forward, but whatever. All right. I jump in, I get a rebound, I land on some big Serbian's foot, snap my leg.
Good
right?
God.
You ain't lying. So I'm over there just laying on the ground. Oh my God. All right. So legs broke. I'm going to cast, and I actually had some of the best training I had in a while. Because, I mean, and it was in December, all right? The end of December, I broke my leg. So you're in it for 2 months, which sucks. Yeah. So when it was my right leg, which is when you fight, it's your front leg. So you can't make contact with it. You can't, so like, all right, kicking's not happening, but you can't just work on your hands like punching because you can't push weight onto it.
No.
So what the hell? Right.
So
what the heck do you do? Right. So I'm not kidding you. At the time I was living in this one house. It was a ranch. It was a 1-level house. So I'm just sitting in my room, just bored, watching karate videos probably. And I'm just like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pick up my chamber and lift this thing up. And I'm going to slide up and down this hallway. And anytime I need to get something in this house, I was going to chamber and slide. So I had one roommate at the time who was not in martial arts. This dude, he might as well looked at me like I had two heads. He's like, what in the world is wrong with you? I said, just get out of my way or I'll kick you. You know, I got a cast, so watch out. And it's awesome. Once they took that thing off and I was able to kick, I knew like, all right, this is going to suck right now. But once I'm able to actually kick again, this is going to be great. And it really was. It was helpful. But we can recreate that. You don't need to break your leg and put a cast on it.
No, don't do that.
No, you can do that. And just kind of like what Carmichael was saying, put a weight on.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. It's interesting what you can come up with. But even times when you want to have something to make contact with, you can buy pads. Now they have the standalones. Even if you don't have a heavy bag, buy a standalone. Do whatever you can.
So, Mike Bates just called you skinny legs, by the way. But anyway,
man, whatever. My squats have been picking up.
So, one of the ways that in martial arts we already have given ways to add weight to that to make you stronger is with weapons. You know, so for me, one of the reasons why we do Psi first at our school is because it's just pretty much like a way of adding weight to what you're doing and for you to adjust how to throw your punches and your blocks with something extra, right? And it's a good one to start with. So guess what, guys? You don't need to leave your bag at the karate school all the time. You can take your weapons and your stuff home.
Wait, time out. What did you say? Leave your bags at the karate school?
Yeah, don't do that. You know, I'm just saying.
I dare somebody leave one of their bags.
Man. Oh, no.
Because here's why. I don't want your dirty, smelly stuff in the school.
Exactly. Don't
and
do
it
that.
also ensures that I know you're not practicing home. Get that.
That's right. That's right. I think that happens more with after-school kids than anything. But, yeah. So, on those weekends, take your weapons home, kids, and practice. But, yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of different things you can do with cones, with pads, with your parents at home on that, parents, remember, you didn't just, you are committed to this thing too. So get down there and get grimy with your kids, man.
So let's think about this. Jeff, what's a tip that you have for training that maybe somebody may not be thinking about?
Here's one thing though, just because Jeff Smith just came on and is watching. He is the first person that really introduced me to X-rays, using X-rays. And now that's the big thing. But yeah, man, I love that. And I found somehow I lost my X-rays in the move from my other school to here. And I found them the other day and I added it to my class. I loved it. I was like, yes, finally. But that is some old school thing that
you got to come up with new ones now. You can't get them.
Well, I still got some, man.
Right. Whatever ones you have, that's it.
Yeah.
They don't because they don't do X-ray paper anymore.
That's right. So that's
apparently they're actually valuable because you can extract.
What was that? I lost Alex, but I don't know about you guys. So, yeah, I did. So
yeah, he's gone. I'm not sure what's going on. But
so anyway,
he's coming back. I'm about to bring him back in.
He's coming back. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you all enjoyed. Put some questions down below if you want to know about something about myself or Alex or what we're thinking about tournaments and such. So, yeah, man, you're back.
Yeah, that was strange.
But you were saying about tips, right? So a tip for what? What do you mean?
Well, just in-home training.
Yeah. All right.
Like here's an example. I have one. I'll just since I brought it up, I'll just put it out there. So, I love kicking. I think it's extremely important.
We lost him. All right. So, Alex.
Minnesota in that Chicago basement.
I know. What in the world?
No.
This is not funny anymore.
It's not funny anymore.
This is not funny anymore. The interwebs are messing with me. All right. No, so here's a pro tip. So I love kicking. I tell people that all the time. I think the biggest difference is the re-chamber of a kick. Like if you're fighting and you're side kicking, all right, and you re-chamber it up to a hook kick or axe kick, all right, that could be the biggest difference maker. Mm-hmm. The easiest kick to challenge when you're fighting is a front leg roundhouse kick. That's the easiest one.
Yeah.
Right. If you just stood there while they throw the kick and someone else just stepped forward and they were guarded, they would jam it up. All right. The one you don't want to get hit with is the side kick. But if you can re-chamber and bring it around like it's an axe kick or hook kick in the midst of kicking and actually chasing, it actually stops them. And I actually think one of the people there's two people that are really, really great at that are Jeremy Francoeur and Jason Borelli. Well, Jason Borelli is the best.
Yeah.
Jeremy Francoeur probably does the best at kicking, re-chambering his legs straight up without stopping his movement and continuing his slide. And he does it so well that he actually almost comes straight up and down. So a way to train that is literally just to focus on body control, all right, and just have something that you're pinpointed on. So if you're looking and you're pinpointed right at something and you're able to aim your side kick right at something and then you can change it, come back up, all right, and then go back to your side kick or whatever, maybe a roundhouse kick.
Yeah.
That's fine. So, but it's a huge difference maker, right? And it could be a difference of 6 inches or less, right? Maybe 4 inches of a height difference of where you're kicking. And it could be something where, all right, I can manage this. I can stop this to the point where, all right, I have to rechange the whole way I fight this person. So that is a great tip. And doing something like that can really change everything.
That's cool. Yeah, so today I did, and thanks Carmichael for that comment.
I see that.
Very similar to what I grew up doing as well. So
16 sets.
Yeah. So today, actually, if you didn't know, I taught a class on sportmartialarts.com and taught it on flexibility and kicking, and was really fun and got to really just share some details with a lot of different people. So if you haven't checked that out yet, go to Sport Martial Arts, their community, their group, and rewatch that. Talk about that, and also do a little bit of a Q&A at the end and interview at the end. So it was a fun time, and hope to do some more like that. Yeah. So yours is very similar to mine. You know, it's like that.
I saw yours. Yours was very good.
Oh, thank you. So one of the things that I really focused on, and I think today I talked about, was where your knee is. That's like where your target's going to be, right? So you really need to focus on that, on your lines, you know, with whatever you're doing. That definitely helps you in fighting, but it also, with your forms, it makes the detail so much better, and it makes the lines cleaner, and it also makes it to where you actually have control of what you do. So control is the key thing. One of the tips, I think later on I said something about connecting with the audience and connecting with, the judges, right? And making them. And one of the best ways is to become an assistant instructor, because you have to learn how to connect with one student. And if you could connect with one student, you could connect with others. And it makes you have more of a, a personality that is going to get people excited, right? That's hard to do by yourself at home. So here's a crazy tip. Use the mirror, all right? So go to the mirror in your bathroom, whatever. Most people, that's probably where they have it, or in your room. Make mean faces. Make silly faces. Make whatever you can that is going to make you laugh, make you go, oh, wow, this is crazy.
And when you're uncomfortable, good.
Yes, it's supposed to be.
Work through it. When it's uncomfortable, it's going to be uncomfortable for a little while. Work through it.
Yep.
You'll be all right.
And again, remember, it's not always about the face or the teeth. It's about the eyes. Okay? When you turn those eyes on and that's what can get people to be like, oh, this guy's crazy. Well, guess what? That's what they want. They want to see something different when you're doing a form. So those doing forms, focus more on that. All right. Yes. Jordan said yes, because I did. He came visit and train with me for a week, and I told him the same thing. So, but yeah, man, just remember that as far as a forms tip, that goes. And honestly, you and I have come from very similar with the kicking on that. And every drill that you do standing, you can do moving. So do that, Start with it with your hand on the wall, then try to do it without. Then start doing it moving. Then, then do it with a pop, then do it with a stick. It can work, and you can be good at both things. So, yeah, man.
That's pretty good. And people, I'll do this. I'm gonna say this. We are a small community. We're a large community area wide, but a small community in that we can actually be able to reach anyone. Someone who's been in the sport for 6 months could connect with somebody who's been doing it for 30 years.
Exactly.
Right? Just like that. And there doesn't have to be a big barrier there. I would encourage, challenge everybody to reach out to other people who are putting themselves out there, who are offering that. I've already been doing Skype lessons with people already this week. Been doing a few of them.
Awesome, man.
I saw a post by Jack Felton today said, hey, that during this time, if you're doing in-home training, reach out to him. He's available. If you don't reach out to him, he's already put himself out there. Right? But even someone like that, that's a no-brainer. You should reach out to someone like him.
You should.
But there's a lot of other people. Like I'll give you an example. One of the smartest people that I really had a conversation with, really about point fighting, is Gregorio DeLeo. All right?
Yeah.
And Gregorio is extremely smart, right? So as far as his training, like if you're like, hey, can you help me with this? Or, hey, here's some of my, because that is also helpful. When some people sent me some of their fighting videos, like here's some of my videos. What do you think? What do I need help with? Like, well, I'm just going to tell you what I think, and when was one of the things when I'm pretty opinionated, I let everybody know.
Yeah,
it's easy to tell what my opinion is on things. Right? So I'm going to tell you right away. So I ask people, like, do you want me to tell you? Because if you want me to tell you, I'm going to tell you.
There you go.
And then we go from there. So I really encourage and challenge people that they should reach out to as many people as they can during this time, because we're all here. We're all locked down. So let's take advantage of this. Let's turn this into a positive and make this a really good thing. And we really should be. Everybody should be better from this.
Sharpen your tools, man. Sharpen them and get ready. So first comment was...
What did Mike say?
Well, yeah, but Drew also just kind of commented about what I said was the spectator or the judge has to believe that you're in the fight. And that's very true. And that's something that I always say, I don't believe you. I'll be watching my kids like, I don't believe you.
Drew was always really good at that too.
And not just in forms, honestly, fighting too. Like, I don't believe you. You're not actually trying to hit that person. I don't believe you. So
You liar.
It didn't count. It didn't. What are you trying to do? Stop trying to brush someone on the shoulder. All right, get out of here. So he
What did
said.
Mike say?
So, do you think the larger terms will cancel or reschedule? Do you think the NASCAR season will end up backloaded? Yeah.
Well, what I think will happen or what I think should happen. It might be two different things. What I think. Let's go with what I think first. What should.
Okay.
What I think should happen is the promoters should talk with one another and really say, okay, we need to think about the greater good of this. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I'm torn on this. I'm torn on, should they just load it up or should they spread it out? Just say, we're going to have to cancel some. All right.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is because, well, listen, people are going to be itching to get the heck out of there. All right. And get into doing something. But at the same time, people may not be able to afford that. And they definitely can't afford to go back to back to back to back to back. So that's why I say they've got to get together and figure that out. Now, that might be for a tournament promoter on themselves. Like, you get to figure that out for yourself, right? Because you can't expect everyone to go everywhere. So it's fine. Host your tournament. And I've always been more about supporting the tournament rather than the circuit.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say this. This is a kudos to NASCA, WKC, WACO. They do a good job of having an organization that is open. Because it's open, like I mentioned, we are a large area-wide sport because of that. Because they allow it to go open to anybody, all right? If you just do ATA, come on in. You can come on in. You do Taekwondo. Come on in. You can still compete with this. There are rules.
Yeah.
But come on in.
Well, that's why. That's what our sport. Yeah.
See, I don't know, man, because I don't know how long it's going to go. You know?
Yeah.
Nobody knows right now.
Right. So my only problem with what you said was even without what is going on, like you could have said this 6 months ago, what you just said. Because we already had tournaments back to back to back.
But then there would also be big gaps, though, too.
Okay, but at the same time, that was already happening before. So really, in general, promoters need to talk to each other in a positive way and need to figure it out a plan together. And that's it. That's the simple thing. But instead, that doesn't happen. And so why not use this time to really communicate together better? So that's it. I don't want to get into any more of it, but without what is happening right now, you could have said the same thing 6 months ago. And that's true because there already is that. So.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm just saying. So I think let's open the floor. Let's you know what? Some people will be sitting at home for a while. Get on Zoom, get on Skype with each other, and start talking it out. Make things happen.
What is Zoom? What is Zoom?
You don't know what Zoom is? Zoom is
don't make fun of me and don't call me a boomer.
Zoom is like a video conferencing thing where you can get a bunch of people on at once.
Oh, okay, so, yes. I know about that. I haven't been the one using it, but I've
right. There's
I've participated in it.
There's WebEx as well. So both of those. I know Carmichael's doing a lot with WebEx because he works with Cisco, and he's helping people get that started. And so Nick just joined us. So thanks, Nick, again for setting me up today with the show. It was a lot of fun. All right.
Well, let's do this. Are you ready to get on with the rest of the show?
Yes, I am, and I'm excited about the topic that we're going to talk about today. Because
goodness,
yes, I'm just going to tell you.
No! Don't spoil it.
No, but we just got to say the topic so that way they want to listen. You got to tomorrow, man. It's going to be fun. But I'm going to tell you one thing. Listen, I don't want to get into any more negative stuff, pointing fingers, this and that. I'm tired of seeing that all over the internet and everywhere. And I think. And I think, you know what, our show should be about pushing the sport forward and you know what, entertain you guys, and showing you how we grow, and from all the moments. So we are going to talk about the year.
It's probably one of the most integral years in sport karate history.
Yes, I really believe that, and I have a lot of inside scoop to that, and I'm sure you do too. So boom, boom. All right, join us.
Right.
Listen to the show tomorrow morning as we talk about the rest of this. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you guys.
We'll have our competitors of the week, and we're gonna have our first trivia questions too.
Oh yeah, all right.
This is gonna be good. I might be able to beat Jeff Doss at something. Who knows?
Man, I'm unprepared for this.
Yeah, like that's gonna matter.
All right.
All right. We will say goodbye, Facebook.
Yes, join us on the show.
Okay, so we brought it up. The most integral year. I don't know if most integral year, but one of the more important years in sport martial arts history.
And one we need and wanted to talk about. Well, I did. And I think you were like, yeah, Jeff. Yeah. Agreeing with me like, yeah.
I did.
You did. I could feel it through the text that you were like my phone started shaking. Yeah.
Yes, it was all caps. It was all caps.
It was all caps.
I did scream the text. So we're going to talk about the year 2000. Boom. And how from 1999 to 2000, like the 2 years almost don't even look the same. They don't even look anything alike. There's so many things different, and not in the sense of, well, like Prince's album 1999. Boom. No. But there's just divisions that were completely different. There was things that happened that weren't even there. More tournaments that were there that weren't there before. All sorts of things.
The way people competed was different.
Yep.
The just
rules, sorts of them.
Right.
Teams.
I mean, we may need to take this as a 2-part series, but we will see how this goes.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we're talking about the year 2000, Jeff, talk about some of the things that
So I'll tell you how 99 ended. I was on Team Elite. So I'll tell you how 99 ended and how I knew things are going to change from the end of 99 into 2000. And it did. So I was on Team Elite. Diamonds 99 ends with a meeting in our room after finals. And we tell everyone that Team Elite is done. There's no more Team Elite.
Now, did you know this going into that?
I knew it. I was one of the only ones that knew it. I was the junior captain, and the adult captain knew it. I knew it. We were brought in. My mom was also the manager of the team, so I knew it. Spencer.
Who was the adult captain?
Let's see. At that time, it was Jesse Ray. Yeah, okay. Jesse Ray was. So we knew it, and who else? And then Coach Conroy was on there, and then also Wilburn King was on there as well. So all of us knew what was going on. So we had a big team because Wilburn was more of the coach for the females and the juniors. We had that meeting, tell everybody in there, and it's just a weird feeling, man. I knew that. So what we had talked about was that this is just something for short term that we were going to do right now. Spencer was going to have maybe 2 or 3 people that he sponsored just to wear the uniform and kind of keep it out. So that way they knew that, hey, it's not done yet. You know what I mean? Like if Jeff is still competing with Team Elite, he's a diehard, something's going to happen. Just wait for me to get it all figured out,
So why did he want to do that? Or do you know? Or can you tell me?
At one point, it was way too many people. There was like 25 to 30 people. That was way too much. And it also just needed a fresh new look, a reset. And at the time, he was trying to figure out what he wanted to do with his businesses. He was expanding in some. He was really himself getting away from karate a little bit. And then he ended up coming back a little bit in 2000. But so it was just different. He had some plans that kind of went up and down over the next few years. And also, I think, him and Conroy were getting closer, and they wanted to figure out how that worked in the future. So that ended, I honestly was kind of like a weight off my shoulders just because I was holding that secret in for the whole tournament, and that sucked. So so yeah, that was terrible. But and then the end of that year, 99 Super Grands was a big time. Team Elite, like I knew that whatever we were going to do next year, I was thinking I'm going to do mostly NBL for me. And several other people were saying the same thing because they wanted to change. JPM, It was already in that works to where they were going to do NBL that next year. Ocean State, we already had heard the rumblings that they were moving to NBL, which they did in 2000. There were some other teams. You had SES, you had Team Smash, you had Liker. You had a lot going on. I actually
NBL was pretty big then.
Oh yeah, huge. And I went to Super Grands and competed all NBL in '98 to kind of dip my foot in and see. And also, I would tell all the different things to Spencer and Conroy and whoever, be like, you need to get this guy, you need to get this guy. Even back then, I was 14, but
you were a 14-year-old scout.
I was telling everyone, like I told him like a year or 2 years before he asked Regina, you need to get her. Didn't happen. Same thing with Carlos Tierney. Didn't happen. We got Jason, we got Trevor, so that was good. But that was a big change.
Wow.
And moving forward, we knew that was kind of, where we were going. We wanted to get Jason. Jason and Stephanie were dating at the time. Stephanie was on the team. And they both went to Super Grands. Spencer went to Super Grands that year, and Mike Comrie went. And everyone was like, why are these guys here? They don't have a team anymore. And everyone knew that they were scouting and they were looking. And Trevor, I think that year, Trevor Nash fought, it was like 14 or something. It was, yeah, I was looking at him all mad because he ended up beating him anyway, right? So he won a bunch of fights, right? But he lost the one that counted. So, anyways, but
Travis beat him. For those,
no. Actually, Jason beat him. Yeah.
Oh,
Trevor got all the way. I was the number 1 seed. Jason was the number 2 seed, and Trevor got all the way to Jason, and Jason beat him to go to that round. Then me and Jason fought, and Jason won on a penalty point at the end. I lost. So I had to go into the next round where I'm still thinking about that fight, and Trevor just hit me with everything possible. Like, it was just insane. I was like, what is happening? I had not lost all year, but that one, it was just like, what just happened?
Wow.
But yes, no, continue your story.
Yeah.
Yes, that's 99. I remember that vividly.
Yeah. So you have Jason and Trevor, in the same division at that time. They both get picked up by Team Elite.
Think about that. Wait, stop.
Yeah.
You just said Jason and Trevor were in the same division.
Yeah. That's what people don't.
People forgot
remember.
How that dude was skinny.
Yes, yeah, he was. So, anyways, this was a crazy transition. So that kind of led to, all right, these are the two guys that are moving up. Everyone already had their eye on Raymond at the time, and a lot of people did on Jason too. But those are the two. And for some reason, people didn't with Trevor because he was kind of in and out. But, I mean, I remember the year before, he whooped everyone's butt at the 99 World Series at Charlie's tournament, and he also whooped everybody at the Bernardo's. So he I knew about him for years, but whatever. Anyways, there was a lot of people that was, all right, this NBL thing, something's going on with it. At the same time, that year, the money went up in NBL big time, all right, as far as compared to NASCA. NASCA, I think at the time, was just giving $300 for each divisional grand, and that was it. And
because not every tournament had an overall. It was
only
lightweight, middleweight,
two events,
heavyweight, done.
Right, and that was it, and 2 events really, maybe 3. But and then you also it was just growing. You had big events like all the AKA Nationals, AmeriKick, Tornado, Dixieland, all tournaments that are part of NASCA now were big NBL events. You also had the June Re Internationals, which is a huge tournament at the time. You had the Sun City, El Paso tournament. You had Vegas. You had big events that people were going to. And so my whole point of all this is that this really started with Elite, JPM, SES, many teams, John Chung's sidekick, Jungle Care, were going from NASCA to NBL. Now, some of them just
because in the last few
switched,
years in the 90s, from like
switched.
96 on,
yeah,
they were talk
those
about
teams
a
were
big dang team. They had like 387 people on their team.
Oh, we're talking about John Chung's?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have,
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So 98,
that was wild.
They were doing, 98 was, I guess, their debut year. And they had an NBL team and a NASCA team. And they were really, really pushing it as far as a big team. Yeah. So it was pretty cool.
And then in every tournament, like 47 times
that music
a day,
man.
you would hear Jungle Love by The Time, which is a great song. But when you hear it over and over again on loop, for everyone's intro to their form, you begin to hate The Time.
All right, so name a person that maybe some people don't know that
Coffee.
That was on that team.
Coffee. This dude. Yes. I can't remember his last name. Start with K. All right? He was a lightweight fighter.
Okay.
Yeah. He was on Jungle Care.
Yeah,
he was a lightweight fighter. He didn't even want to do forms. But Jong Chung said, in order to be on this team, you got to do forms and fighting. And I fought this guy. He beat me once. I beat him once because we were both lightweights at the time.
Okay.
All right? In 2000. All right?
Uh-huh.
Right. And I remember this dude, he could trick. Like, he would do like a Brainy. Brainy's like it's a backflip half twist. That's how he would start his form. And I was like, all right, that's dope. Right. Yeah. He would bow, he would do his presentation, he would come back and he would turn around, and he would do a backflip half twist. And I was like, that's pretty dang cool. And he did, and he would just trick and throw a couple of hand combos out there and then just be done. Yeah. Right. And I remember talking to him like, dude, just don't even feel like you're putting everything into it. He goes, oh, I don't care. Now, I was also in that division, and I'm like, excuse me, what?
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, they make me do this because I have to do a form division in order to fight. Yeah. So I just figured I'd do one where I can do some tricks. I'm like, you can't even make this up. Yeah. So I wish I knew his last name right now, but I'll never forget that dude. He has short dreads. His name was Coffee. All right. This dude was good fighter too. Yeah. But there was a lot of people on that team.
Oh,
Harrison Snyder was on that team.
Time out. It's not Coffee. It's Kofi.
That's what I meant.
Okay. No wonder I have no clue what you're talking about.
Kofi.
Yeah, I know. Kofi's from the DC area, and now he's a famous stunt guy in Hollywood. So yeah.
I was confusing
him. No wonder I had no clue
him with a guy I know from the hood named
Kofi. Had a crazy style where he really incorporated a lot of like Taekwondo style into it. Did a lot of the switch kicks and stuff. Yeah. Him and Arnold Chon trained together a lot. So yeah, he's doing big things right now. So yeah. Kofi. I was like, what? Who are you talking about?
Thanks for correcting me. Kofi. Kofi was good, but there was a lot of good people on that team. Like I said, Harrison Snyder from Colorado. He was on that team. Yeah. Really good guy who ended up being a part of Team Chat. Who was a part of Team Chat at one point.
Yeah. Do you know who? Do you know whose first team actually? Their first team. No. What? No, I mean, what I'm trying to say is, what big star in sport martial arts sidekick was their first team? Or John Chung's team was their first team?
John Soo.
Well, yes, John Soo, but someone who's really big right now and doing big things outside of our sport.
I don't.
It wasn't Raymond Daniels. So
Caitlin Duchelle?
Nope. If it wasn't Raymond Daniels, who's
don't
the
make
other
me feel
person?
Dumb. Is it Ross?
Yeah, Ross. Yeah, Ross, man.
Don't make me feel dumb just because you know everything.
Yeah. So honestly, I had forgotten about that. And then when I was at the 50th anniversary of John Chung's thing, like several people sent in videos and stuff, and it reminded me, was like, oh yeah, that's right. So I actually had forgotten too, but it was a cool thing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, anyways, back to the year 2000.
The year 2000. I'll tell you some other things about the year 2000. See, the year 2000 was really the breakout year of Raymond Daniels. It was not his rookie year. It was his breakout year.
No.
I remember fighting him in my first adult year.
Technically, like 2 years after, because in '98 he debuted as an adult, and then '99,
right.
but maybe just on NBL. But in '99 he did NASCA and NBL, and yeah.
Because my first year as an adult was '99, and I fought Ray then, and I didn't know who I was fighting.
Yeah.
And I quickly found out who I was fighting.
Yeah.
And it started out by me slide kicking right at him, not knowing who I was fighting. A skinny, long kid with a right side slide. That is dangerous. And I caught his heel. No joke. With my backhand, I caught his heel right in front of my eyeball. All right?
Yeah.
When they gave him 2 points, I didn't even care. I was like, go ahead. I have my eyesight. Because literally in front of my eyeball, I caught his heel. You get 2 points for that. I don't care.
All right. I'm sorry I got to throw this out there. I know it's not 2000, but it's '99. So Kim Do and Raymond Daniels were on Straight Up together, right?
Yeah.
What other team were they on in '99 together for like a really short minute?
I mean, the only team I remember Kim Do on would have been the West Coast Demo team.
Nope.
So it couldn't have been that. It would have had to have been what? Kanai? No. Because in '99.
It was not on Kanai yet.
Gosh, what was it? It was
Yep.
Zebra?
Travis got it. Zebra Matt sponsored Raymond
That's
Daniels
right.
and Kim Do. All right.
They sponsored a few people. That's right. I forgot about that.
I mean, I'm going to say maybe 3 months or something like that. Okay. It was like half a year or something. But yeah.
But they had a few different like weird sponsors.
Yeah. So,
like
but those uniforms are awful, man. God, that was the worst thing ever. But it's a cool fun fact, right? And a lot of people, I remember, went to Vegas that year and no one knew who Raymond was. And I did, because I just came back from Super Grands and I was like, oh, dude, this guy's good. No. You don't know. And so it was like, you better watch this dude. Yeah. So, anyways, Raymond.
His breakout year. He won a ton of stuff in 2000.
In 2000, yeah. And it was
in
weird
99, he couldn't get past, because in 99, he was a lightweight, just like he was in 2000. Right? The person winning the lightweight division, when he would enter it, was actually Mike Pombiero. All right? He would cut down. He did. Yep. Yeah. We were in the same division. That happened. All right?
Oh, you're talking about 99. Okay.
99. All right? Okay. It for real happened. All right. And I remember thinking about it at the time, like, how are you a lightweight? But I don't know, whatever. He weighed in. That's what he did. All right. And so, but in 2000, oh no, that's another world. He just took the heck over. Ray did. And he won just about everything.
Right. It was a big change, because I remember several times in '99, Thomas Wright beating Raymond. Thomas Wright and Jason battling. And the next year, it was all about Raymond Daniels and Jason Borelli. I mean, really, it was Jason Tankson and those two guys. Now, was it only?
But there was other guys.
No. Mike P was still on top of his game. Jotty was still on top of his game. Brian Plimple became the name he was in 2000. Because in '97, what people forget, he beat Jotty like 2 or 3 times in '97, 98. So people forget about that. Because you only saw
Brian
Plimple. Yeah, and then Brian Ruth, yes, of course.
Brian Ruth,
yes,
was dang good then too.
Yeah,
so those two,
those guys were really doing it. I mean, they're all right. In something that happened in 2000 that wasn't happening before, you saw it a little bit, but not as much. Was both people doing both NASCA and NBL, and that wasn't really a real big thing, especially within teams. All right, you would have an NBL team and you have a NASCA team. This time you had your 3 or 4 of your best teams doing both, or doing a little bit here and there.
That was the thing. That was the thing that everybody knew. That because then it turned to CJB
at the end
JPM,
of the Super Grands that year. Yeah,
NASCA, NBL, and Crane.
Well, we didn't do no Crane.
JPM did. JPM did.
Well, that's because it was up there. Crane wasn't really...
Correct. Right. Hey, I ain't too far off. Don't get on me like that.
Crane. No offense to Crane. Crane is a New England circuit,
I understand.
And then all of a sudden, and then they had a tournament in Guatemala. Okay, so that was it. Oh, and also Quebec City actually at the time was a Crane tournament. So, yeah. Okay, and so we went there. So all right, but still, it's all okay. Anyway,
so I'm not wrong.
Whatever. Most of those Crane events were NASCO or NBL events as well.
Oh my goodness.
So let's talk about Rhode Island 2000. All right, this was a crazy tournament, man.
Because it's now NBL.
It's now NBL, and everyone was already on their toes anyway. I'm gonna be honest. At that time, it wasn't one of my favorite events, and so I was not
there and hadn't gone to that one for a few years. Yeah. To that point, so I can't speak from personal experience. So
now I went every year to that tournament from '94 till 2000, 2001 or something like that, and I went years later too. I was a diehard. I went to that tournament for a long time. I used to drive to that tournament from Virginia. There, that was crazy. When I was younger, my mom used to set up and sell, and she was a vendor, and she sold karate gifts, toys, and jewelry. It was called Robin's Nest, and so. She did that for a good 4 or 5 years to pay for my karate tournament. So
that's no niche.
So we would have a Suburban full of stuff that we were going to sell and a trailer behind it, and drive all the way up to Rhode Island, which I think was probably 14, 15 hours, something like that. It was pretty crazy. So yeah, I would go there. We'd go to Boston. We would do all those tournaments. That event was nuts, all right? Because, especially for those that have already been to it before, right? Because you're bringing in people that never went to it, mixing it with Crane. At that time, Crane and NBL tried to have like a joint thing, and working together.
Okay. Yeah.
And so because of Don, and there was already. There were already some issues, not really too many issues, but there were some things that happened at AKAs and Amerikick. I mean, those events were just, man, it was just such a talented time, like a breakout time with the fighters and stuff, and just everyone going at it, and the rivalries were just insane. I mean, that was really the first time we really started seeing Preston lose, was in 2000. Jason really started having his number. You saw that kind of thing.
That's the thing. So right there, what you mentioned, Preston Clements, because it was like
98, 99. My God.
He was like, it was like he was getting to the overalls, and he wasn't winning every overall.
No.
Right. And so then I remember
thinking, time out. There wasn't
go ahead.
There wasn't overalls. People keep freaking forgetting about that.
Okay.
There wasn't. No.
There was some.
Yes,
very few.
Diamonds he lost to Reggie, and then
all right, there you go.
All
right, so let's say that because that was like really the last major tournament, other than Super Grands, before 2000.
Yeah, and at that time, Super Grands didn't have.
I remember watching that fight between Reggie and Preston, thinking Reggie was just smarter. Mm-hmm. Preston's the better athlete. In 2000, Preston's coming for it. And then Ray just took over.
Yeah, it was Ray and Jason's kind of time as far as moving forward.
Yep, absolutely.
And then Trevor. I mean, there's so many great fighters at that time, man.
That really emerged. Yeah. In 2000, I mean, how about Jason Facey? I talk about this guy a lot. This guy.
Well, see, for me, I look at that as just the opposite way. Yeah, that was the end of 2000. Like the end of him really doing it, and same thing with Thomas Wright. Thomas quit in the middle of the year. He actually quit at a Team Elite training camp. We did summer camp at Mike Conroy School, hanging out, everything, and just said, you know what, I'm done.
What?
Yeah. So we didn't see him for a while.
What you talked about, like the emergence of the so many great fighters. Trevor, Jason, Ray,
Ninja.
Ninja
really became a man.
And you add Alex Dingman to that, and you're like, oh my gosh. can there be anything more?
Anyways,
just jokes, guys.
You also have SES. You have, like I said, Brian Plimple, Carlos Tierney joined the team, Regina Thompson. Travis is still pushing up there. Ski is becoming the lightweight fighter in NBL. At that time, there's so many people that are, man. It's just a cool time. You still had veterans like I had talked about before with Team Liker '98 winning. Like Larry Tankson's still fighting, competing. You have people like that just doing it. It was really cool for me to be able to do both, and just see it all. There's a lot of people I'm forgetting.
There's a lot that we've been talking about on the fighting side. Let's talk about. There's a lot that changed on the form side.
Can I get into this Ocean State tournament though? How
let's go ahead and do it because you brought it up. We really didn't dive that deep.
Because this is actually like the beginning. So NBL's, first Ocean State. Well, since actually what people forgot is that when NBL first started, the Crane and the New England area was one of its first strongholds in that first 2 years. JPM supported them and everything like that. So it was NBL. So when you were like, oh my God, this has never been NBL. Actually, it had been. But that was 90, 91, 92. So in 2000, this happened. Their first NBL event in the 2000s, their last NBL event in the 2000s. There was just a lot of craziness. They didn't like that rules got enforced. And one rule at the time, which it did get changed because it was just kind of like, it was the coach could not touch the player, right? And so it was an automatic penalty point.
Wait.
Yeah.
The coach, if I'm a coach, I can't touch my own fighter?
Right. No coach could touch them. And I think
you can't pat him on the back. Good job. But you can't say that. You can't do that.
I think the reason why the rule, it wasn't just for them. All right, it just said they can't. Really, the rule was a coach cannot touch any player that's competing, right? And so the reason why, because they had coaches that had kind of like what I talked about last week with that coach running after Cass and trying to choke him. They had issues like that. So really, it was more to protect the other player or any situation. 95 Super Grands in Texas, there was several people who went through tables on stage with a fight between Texas and California. So I'm sure we will get on that when we get to when we get to our West Coast show one day. But so there was a lot of issues like that, right? So that is the reason why it happened. Now, should have been some different rules, but the actual language of it was this, right? So what's funny is my instructor was the center, and he's going to call it by the rules, Lawrence Arthur. And it's overtime, actually. Jason and Raymond are fighting. This is for the overall grand. And they do a clash, really, right? And you can watch this fight on YouTube in Black and Blue. Honestly, it's one of the worst fights.
Wally Faulkner's got a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, he has it on there. Even funnier to me is that for some reason Don Rodriguez wanted Boyce Liddell on the microphone, so that was weird. You had this happening. The clash happens, and Raymond and Don, who's the promoter, which to me, again, like I said, shouldn't be on the stage coaching if you're the promoter of a tournament, but whatever. He turns around. They go, yeah, that was awesome. I think he came into the ring and kind of patted on, and break, penalty point, this side. Time, all right, winner. And then, so ended on a penalty point. I don't even know if they got to the call because the center can control that part. Penalty points override anything else. They had a battle back and forth with the arbitrator, this and that. On stage, on the video, you see Don walk from the coach's box to right in front of Boyce, who is on the microphone, give him the finger, says, "We're leaving. Screw your league. We're done." Yeah. So.
Oh my goodness.
So again, after that, Jason still has to do head-to-head grands for forms against Jimmy Pham.
And then that was Jimmy Pham's breakout.
His first year as
an adult. Yeah.
Yep.
Which was a dang good year too.
And guess what happened?
Jimmy won.
No.
He didn't?
Won.
Jason
won.
I don't know this.
That's what I'm saying. Jason won. And everyone was just, it was so weird. It was the only Ocean State Nationals ever where a JPM person didn't win until years later. But yeah, so, and it was the only year they were NBL. So
you're on to something or you're on something.
Yeah, I don't have to say anything else. Anyway, so that changed the year because JPM was supposed to go to more NBL events and really do. They didn't end up doing Super Grands. They did go to Vegas that year, and that was a big event too. All the big teams went.
Right.
So really, most of these teams went to more NBL events than they did NASCA events. So it kind of opened up something for other people to kind of move forward. So,
and speaking of events, there was more tournaments. There was a lot. How about the Cactus Classics? Do you remember that?
Yep.
Yeah, that tournament doesn't exist anymore that I know of.
Nope.
That was
Cactus
a good one.
Classic.
You get out to the West Coast more because a lot of people talk about, there's no tournaments on the West Coast.
Right.
Make a good tournament on the West Coast and we'll go to it.
Right. There were some good ones, but
that's why I was asking. Is Junior going to have his tournament again? He said he's not going to have it this year.
Yeah.
Which is almost better that he didn't.
Well,
being that it's 2020 now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There were some good ones for a while in the NBL, and then it just kind of stopped. So.
But hey, I wanted to talk about the form side.
Yes, all right, let's get into the forms.
From 99 to 2000, there's a world of difference. How about this? How about the biggest part of it? In 1999, John Valera retires.
Yes.
John Valera retires,
and then
his division that he did forever was Korean. and basically, what John Valera did was a creative form. Right? He did a creative form in the Korean division. Well, in 2000, they changed the rules.
Yeah.
Right? I remember talking to him in 2002, and I said, "Man, you think you're ever going to come back?" And I've mentioned this before. He looked me dead in the eye, and he goes, "I am never coming back." I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So, so that was the one that he did. But the other form, there was another form division, which we've talked about as well. There was American Hardstyle. All right. That in 1999, that was there. It was an American Hardstyle division. That was gone. So now
I think that was still there in 2000.
It wasn't because I tried to enter it and they said no, you have to enter open. So I'm like,
all right, it just changed open, whatever. But it was still the same. All right, yeah, okay, it's still the same division, but yeah, I know what you mean. Because in 2004,
but if you think about it, look at that though. Because in '99 you had American Hardstyle, which was basically open, and you had Korean, which John Valera was doing, which is basically open or creative.
Yeah,
you see what I mean?
It was creative forms and then tricky. You know, I mean, like it was that kind of thing. You know, and remember the little tidbit I told you before: 93 and 94, the #1 American forms champion was Ho Young Pak. So
wild, right?
Yeah. So it's crazy, man. So
that was 99. Going into 2000, there was a lot of other guys that popped up. Like we talked about the debut of Jimmy Pham in the adults.
Right.
But how about guys like
Daniel Sterling? Well, yeah.
Daniel Sterling.
Daniel Sterling became. He thought he was, you know.
He thought he was going to.
This is from his mouth.
The next John Valera.
I'm going to be the next John Valera. Yeah, that's what he said.
He really did.
Yeah.
And you know what? He carried himself that way.
Right.
He did, and he was doing pretty good. And it looked like he was going to be. He looked like it kind of looked like he was going to be Mike Chat and John Valera together. And I'm like, because he was good.
You had that. You also had that most people were thinking this is going to be when Anthony is really going to become the man. No. Well, Anthony DeMarco kind of did.
He did.
I'm talking about Anthony Atkins. And so
yes,
and so
I
it
could
just
never beat.
it was just a lot of talent. Kim Do came back and really started pushing.
Yeah.
You actually had the exit of David Douglas really around this time. Like he was kind of on his way out.
He didn't really go out for another couple of years. All right.
Yeah, and then so Lee Pei-Yun, which was really cool to see come in. And honestly, the biggest one.
Tell me.
Jason Tankson.
Nobody had seen anything like that.
Jason
before.
Tankson did not win on NASCA anytime before that in forms. He was doing it every now and then in 99, but he did not. And then next thing you know, he's going to every tournament. That dude went to more tournaments 2000, 2001. I mean, I thought I went to a lot of tournaments, but this dude went to a lot of tournaments. And
I was never at a tournament where he wasn't there.
Yeah, the man in sport karate. And he became the real triple threat. It was
with forms, weapons, and fighting. Yep.
Right. And it was also really the breakout year for John Su. Because in 99 was his first year as an adult, and he did well, but you also had John Valera. So the tournaments that John wasn't at, John would win a lot of times. John Su would win. 2000, it was kind of his time to move up. 2001, he really took it to the next level.
And here's what's weird. Since you mentioned John Su, I remember him because people who last saw John Su, when you last saw him compete, you saw him competing, doing Japanese form and doing a Chinese whip form.
Right.
What they won't know, double whip. What they won't know is that he was winning overalls in weapons with nunchucks.
And dude, that's still one of my favorite nunchuck forms ever.
And his sidekick was the business.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good sidekick.
I'm actually slightly curious as to why he didn't make your honorable mention list for forms kickers.
Because
it was pretty dang good. I said honorable mention. I didn't say the list.
It was good, but I guess it's mostly because he would always put mine over so much. You know, like he would ask me for tips and stuff. So I don't know on that.
Wouldn't that elevate him? He wasn't reaching out to a scrub.
No, I know. We were teammates, right? It was different. I don't know, man. Anyways, this he's just all around. I just think of him as just an all around competitor. So
absolutely, and a fighter too.
Yeah. So 2000, you have that. I mean, there's so many really cool things that happen. But the juniors, I have it down here. The juniors in 2000, and there was a lot of people that I didn't see before. And then all of a sudden, that 15-7 division, and I was in it myself. You have really the elevation of Daryl Lewis in NBL. Butch Marks kind of on his way out. You have Alex Davidov, who became a name in NBL and NASCA in 2000.
Huge.
And it was like the start of Steve Terada on the national circuit.
Yep.
Will Valentine on the national circuit. Nick Begley and Kalman Choka becoming real high level.
Keep
people.
Saying it.
So,
and Marcel Jones.
As far as he was really making his name on the team side, then he became, because he was still, him and I were the same age, so we were still juniors. He got big as an adult as far as an individual.
Okay.
Team forms, he was killing it. So him and Steve Torres were killing it in team forms that year. And also Steve was doing really well in the Korean division at that time. So it's really cool to just sit back and think about that. But the juniors, and there's some too that I'm forgetting right now.
So many of them.
Yeah, every tournament.
So many of them.
Anthony Murata really started coming out big in 2000. He wasn't doing it in 99. So there's so many like that. Was a cool time. Man.
How about this one?
There's still people like Chris Milleras, who in NBL was winning every single Deforms division, and he's one of the most BA fighters I've ever seen. Love watching him. And Chris Milleras, so even the end of Chris Sublett, who the year before in 99 won 7 NBL world titles at Super Grands, which was a record at the time, title record. He was it was just all of us in the same division, and just every tournament, no matter what conference we went to. Jesse Jones, another one. Manny Brown. I mean, just so many great people, man.
That
it was
dude
just really
could jump
cool.
through the building.
Right. So, man, and I'm sure I'm missing somebody. But
well, how about this one?
It was a fun
Since
time.
you mentioned juniors, there is a full-on team that we didn't mention of just juniors. There's only 3 of them, but how about Team Valera?
Team Valera. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, me and Stephanie were both
Runyon,
on
James Solis,
Team Elite.
and I think it was, what was it, Alan Sandoval, right?
Well, there's Alan Sandoval, there was Rudy Rainin, James Solis, and then also
who am I forgetting?
Another kid, Nunchuck kid, Macias, Aaron Macias. He was only there for like 3 or 4, and he was really good.
But James Solis is legit. James Solis was the first person I saw do a standing 900. All right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is nothing today. Like today, you're like that in 2020. You're like, well, that's nothing.
Yeah.
20 years ago,
yeah.
You look like you just saw a spaceship land.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I loved James, man. He's still doing it. Yeah. But Rudy, man, when you saw him, it was like a miniature John, and it was cool. 2000 World Series. I sat while we were watching runoffs, sat next to John and his girlfriend at the time, and just started talking about, man, this is crazy. He's like, yeah. He's like,
you know what I liked? You know what I liked about what they did? I remember Rudy did this. It was he did this in a couple of tournaments I saw. Because they wore just a black uniform that had Valera down the back in vertical spelling. But when Rudy went to the finals a couple times, he wore, instead of a black uniform, he wore a red uniform.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was cool.
Like, whoa, that's different, right? Nobody would do that today. My brother turns to me and he goes, "Oh yeah, that's just like," because my brother was a wrestler, and he goes, "Oh yeah, that's called like that's just like a championship singlet," and I'm like, you might as well be speaking Russian. You have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, some people in their championship round, they wear a different singlet.
A different one, yeah.
He's like, and I'm like,
yeah,
that's freaking cool.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
John started doing that several tournaments the year before. We did it at Waco and
with the sleeveless.
And yeah, with the sleeveless, and that was part of the game that he was on, the Untouchable video game.
I heard about this, but I never actually saw the game.
So the game was made in D.C., and there was a lot of people from the D.C. area that was on it. Stephanie Flowers was on it.
Is that why he had like the white hair?
Yeah, the white hair. Yeah, John was on it. Mallory Woods is on that game.
That's a trivia question.
There's a lot of he was Mr. X or X on that game. So yeah.
What did you play this game?
Yeah, I played it and watched it and everything, and saw all the previews for it and everything. It was really cool, man.
Wow.
Yeah, Stephanie had a fight with like high heels on and all leather and stuff. It was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
it's good to be crazy.
It was nuts. But yeah, I mean, man, it was just a cool time. A transfer of different styles with forms too. You had Stephanie and Casey Marks doing NBL and NASCA, and Casey kept doing a lot of NASCA for them. That was really her beginning of really doing a lot of NBL. And Stephanie was winning on NASCA and on NBL. And sometimes she would lose to Shelly Allen, who was the top girl in NBL at the time. So because of, Stephanie's choreography was pretty good too. But choreography in NBL was a lot different compared to NASCA. And I think that was something that made them stand out. And I had talked before about the presentation and stuff. And 2000 was a big change because you started seeing all the sequence uniforms that everyone was wearing with all the glittery and stuff kind of go away. And it was kind of fading out a little bit with people like myself.
Which I kind of wish it would come back.
And Daryl Lewis in the juniors and different ones like that. So it was a whole different time. The black uniform kind of phase kind of really went in. So
don't you wish the sequin uniform, don't you wish stuff like that would come back?
I think there could be something different. I never liked the sequin, but I liked the presentation that it did.
But be honest, if you saw one today, you'd be like, all right, that's a breath of fresh air. In
some ways, yeah. I liked the entertainment factor.
That's really what I'm getting at.
Of that they did. So I mean, I remember doing my form and tying against a guy who dressed up like Indiana Jones and came out and did a whip, and then he did his form, Nick Perdun.
What?
Yeah, which was pretty cool in some ways, right? Chris Malera's rolled on a skateboard and did his presentation and then did his form. Okay?
Shut up.
Yeah, bro. I'm telling you, man.
I did see a guy dress up like Raiden one time from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
that was entertaining.
That might have actually been the guy who was doing Raiden, actually. But yeah, there's that.
Possible.
Because Johnny Cage competed at Bluegrass Nationals as Johnny Cage once. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm telling you, man, I know so much.
Didn't win.
But
yes.
No, he did not win. He did not. Anyways, wow.
So really, to recap this thing, really from start to bottom, or from top to bottom, you look at the year 2000. It was a completely different year. Let's start off with how about the first tournament of the year in 2000, the Empire State Nationals.
Oh God, I forgot about that one. That was the worst thing
supposed
ever.
To be at Madison Square Garden in January.
Yeah.
And everybody had to go because it was Madison Square Garden. But was it really? Or was it in the broom closet of Madison Square Garden? And
see, that was funny because we hadn't told anyone that Team Elite 2000 was coming out yet. That was what we were calling it, right? I was wearing my 1996 candy cane uniform there or whatever. And I just remember Jottie coming up to me and saying, Jeff, you need to leave that in the past, man. And Spencer coming up to him and be like, we're coming back, bro. Oh, whatever, and just, it was really funny. So after that, anyways, that was the only tournament that I didn't go to the finals to. I don't remember tournaments that I don't go to the finals to. For some reason, I was so bummed and just had no interest that I didn't even go to the finals. And a lot of people didn't. There were people bowing out of the finals because they just didn't want to go.
Wait, they bowed out of the Grand Championship round?
Yes.
Because it was that sucky of a tournament?
Yeah. I'm telling you, man.
So weird. That's another level of bad.
Right. I don't know about adults, but I know juniors were. Yeah.
Yeah. I suppose it's easier when they're not going to pay you anything. And you're like, I'm just going to be here all night and it's going to stink.
Yeah.
And that's easier to bow out then. Too.
Yeah. I just remember that term, just not, I was ready. The only thing I was more bummed about was that I wasn't staying long enough. I wouldn't stay until Monday, so that way I could go to the Royal Rumble that day. Because the Royal Rumble was at Madison Square Garden that Sunday night. And so a lot of people had tickets and were going. And I was so mad that I wasn't. So I was more mad about that.
Because you're a big wrestling fan.
I'm a big wrestling fan. So
why would you not do that?
I didn't even – I was 14. I didn't really know it that way. My mom didn't be like, hey, I'm surprised with tickets. It wasn't really like that,
Dude, come on. It'd be like this. I'm going to ask you a question. Let's say there was a tournament in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
And the next day, the Knicks are playing the Heat.
You'd be there, yeah.
Do you think I'd be there?
Yeah, heck yeah.
There's a one-legged duck swimming a circle?
Right.
Of course I would be there.
Of course.
Right? And I don't care about either one of those teams.
Right. But still.
Yeah. Look at this. Hey, we found another way to talk about the NBA.
No!
Every single week, we found a way to reference the NBA.
I need a buzzer to be like,
Anytime I reference something NBA related. Whatever.
So anyways, then, man, there's just so many cool events, so many cool things that just happened just throughout that year. U.S. Open 2000 was a big one with
the
U.S.
Open 2000 was big, but it was a pain. It was a pain in the butt though. So
I didn't go. So I'm glad.
They didn't. Let me tell you about it. So it was there. They started the finals at 7:30 at night. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and they didn't have fighting in the finals because they couldn't. Right.
Yeah.
I lost. I took third. All right. I can't. Who beat Donald Brady beat me. All right. And I like I said, I just left as soon as I was done. No, I stayed and watched Jason.
Yeah,
Facey
Jason
and I stayed and watched Jason Facey and Raymond Daniels fight, and Raymond beat him. All right, for the division. All right.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you saw Jason and David fight, but yeah, that was later.
Well, yeah, I did see that. That was later. No, before I left, and I remember when I left the ballroom, it was 10:45 at night. All right, and I didn't even watch like divisional wins and grands and none of that stuff. All right.
Yeah.
And there was still a ton of stuff going on, and I left at 11:15. You see what I'm like? It is just totally chaotic. And I remember I talked because this was like my first year competing for the full season ish on NASCA, and I talked to Larry Carnahan, and I was like, "Wow, this one was really late," and because I didn't really know that could be a common thing. And he goes, "Oh yeah, we had a conversation. This is never going to happen again." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "Yeah, I just told." And he goes, well, "I won't say what I said, but I basically just told them they need to get their act together. This is not going to happen again." Which, come on now.
Yeah.
They have ESPN in their back pocket that they can have.
Yeah.
They don't want it to happen again.
They've learned how to do a lot of these things and do interviews in the back now. But back then they were trying to do all the interviews live so the crowd could see it, and it was on, and that made it weird, and that made everything long. Because I remember the year before
I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about just the tournament, the eliminations themselves. Right? Yeah, like everything. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like we ended just the regular eliminations of the tournament. I left at 11:45 at night.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, you're talking about Friday? Okay.
No. I'm talking about Saturday.
Oh wow. Yeah. See, I didn't go that year. So I didn't know how. Yeah.
I left the
99 was pretty rough. 99 was really rough. So I remember all that. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and then I saw my first alligator. I didn't realize that. The guy from Minnesota. I didn't realize that alligators are just being anything, and that there's water in Orlando. I didn't know that. Yeah.
Diamonds 2000. Pretty cool.
Yep.
We win this is what really starts, because after Bluegrass 2000,
CJB was already going.
No, it wasn't CJB, it was Team Elite. Team Elite
my bad.
started their undefeated season from there, right? So for a year. And so Diamonds won the thing, and we're going to talk about this Jason versus Raymond, the real rivalry, sometime soon as well, and the behind the scenes stuff, because people forget Jason lived in Cali for a little bit too. So that was a crazy time. Jason beats Team Elite wins in 2000 the team title. I think that was the start of their 3 or 4 year run at Diamonds, winning the team title. Raymond wins the grand though, wins the overall. And
at Diamonds
in 2000,
over Brian Ruth.
Yeah, and so he beat Jason in the semis, and then him and Brian fought because Jason was in the finals, and he lost, or maybe actually Brian might have beat Jason. No, it was Raymond. Yeah,
it was Ray.
So I was right. All right. So yeah, and was it in 2000 when they were doing the 3 thing instead of? I think it was. No, it wasn't. Okay.
No.
All right, but
they only did the 3 thing. They only did the 3 thing 2 years, and that was in the late 80s.
Oh, in the late 80s? No.
Where they did 3 diamonds?
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when they broke it down to just 3 fighters, and that was it. It was around that time, but I think it was 2004. They really pushed that, and then the person that got the bye was whoever won by the most points. No, in 2004
they didn't even have the diamond final in the finals.
No, I remember that, but that was the way that they did the grand setup, because I remember.
I understand
Bluegrass. Yeah. So, anyways, it was just a crazy year, and then Super Grands 2000, one of the biggest and best tournaments I've been to as far as competition, especially for fighting, and everybody was there, and man, I mean, just it was cool to just be a part of that. and see the different ones. And Team Elite beats Bay Area's Best in the finals for the team title, which was a big deal at that time, So it was Damon Gilbert, Jose Pacheco, Leo Creer versus Freddie LePan, Trevor Nash, and Jason Tankson. So pretty cool time.
That's yeah.
Good
matchup.
Yeah, so it was fun. Lots of good fighting, lots of good everything. Jason 2 years in a row got perfect 10s, so he got a 50 in forms. So he got it in 99, a perfect 50, and in 2000, same thing, perfect 50, all 10s.
That's a thing.
Yeah. So yeah, man. So I mean, it just ended really cool in Savannah, Georgia. But
yeah. I watched videos of that. I didn't go.
That year to me was really what pushed everything forward. You know what I mean? Just
that set the tone for what everything was going to be like going
from
forward.
Before,
for the next 10
you
years.
did one league or the other, and that was it. And even internationally, you did WACO or that was it, or you did WK and that was it. Now we really have cross tournament. For a while, people were doing both NBL and NASCA. People were competing overseas and this and that. It really started that craze and that. And I think you got to really look at that year as a pivotal year. You also got to look at it at the change of really trying. That was the first start of them really trying to make traditional by the change. The change of Korean. You also had so many awesome forms competitors in NBL that were finally getting some look, and you just had a little bit of both, and people were wondering about what's going on here,
Right. I think the tricking went through the roof. The tricking went through the roof in 2000. That's when it really started. I mean, the loop kicks guys, they took off around then.
Well, they weren't. I don't know if they were in existence yet, but they were starting to really form around that time, right?
Right. And guys like Chris DeVera.
Yeah, but 2000 was when, martial arts tricking and Bilang and all that stuff was happening, was coming up. And man, it was just really cool.
Billy Bilang.
There's just so many things, and we could talk about, and I would love to get more. But yeah, I mean, it was just who's going to take JV's spot? Who's going to be the man, the woman? I mean, and really the rise of just the dominance of Casey in Forms and Weapons, and was that the year that she won the Fighting Grand? I think she did.
No, she won it in 99. Dude, you know who won it in 2000? It was still Nikki Carlson Lee.
Oh yeah, that's right, Nikki Carlson Lee. Yeah, and that's another thing.
Look at how crazy that year is. She was still winning.
Time out for this. So the original team that Team Elite brought out in 2000. So listen to this lineup. For women's teams,
it had
Nikki Carlson, Dottie White, and Claire Kokoza. And then also, the alternate was Stephanie Flowers, who was a really good fighter.
She was a pretty good fighter too.
Most of the time on the women's team, she actually did it at everyone because
Dottie and
Nikki wouldn't go to the same tournament, except one tournament. So yeah, we could talk about that too. That's fun too. No, I mean, there's so much to get into, man.
There's too much. It's like that. We'd have to break it down. But we got to move on.
Yeah,
let's
finish with our competitors
of the week. All right, I will go first. My competitor of the week. Now I have.
You can't have 7 like Chris and Travis.
No, I have 1. But
I hadn't even heard it yet. And you just told me, dude, they got 18 competitors of the week, man.
My competitor of the week, what I've been using a lot of guys from the past who are maybe like retired forms competitors. This is the polar opposite of that. He's probably the most active fighter that there is, but he's not just a fighter. My competitor of the week is Anthony Merricks.
Oh, all right, cool.
All right, Anthony Merricks. Let's just really talk about. Let's talk about Anthony Merricks. We're talking about a self-made guy. This guy really, I mean, he pulled himself up from. We have watched him forever.
For a long time.
Grow. I would say like 10 years almost now, right? Would you say that? I think I think
2009 was really when we started. I remember seeing him and meeting him.
I don't even remember seeing him.
So, yeah.
I remember Chris Walker was saying, like, he fought him then in 2010 or 2009. I don't remember seeing him.
Yeah, I met him at Gerald's tournament and Kodak. And I saw him before that, maybe a year before that, but I knew that, so yeah.
Now, I'd probably seen him, but I remember at the time, Next Level is so good at this. They always got a guy who's coming up. They always got a couple of guys, all right?
Yeah.
Who are really good, and that's just a credit to Jesse Ray, all right?
Oh, yeah.
And his leadership. So, but let's just talk about this guy. He's the most active competitor right now, I think, that there is. I really believe this. Okay. Now, he's a wonderful fighter, but he's also a good Japanese forms competitor. He's won a lot of gold medals
in WKC. I think he's 3 years in a row or something. He's had the hardstyle title. Yeah.
I don't remember. Let's think.
I think it is 3.
I think it is. I think it's at least 3 in a row. It's at least 3. Right, where he's won the forms title, the
for
WKC
hard
Worlds.
style, for that hard style division. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But we've watched him grow as far as the division that he fights in. Right.
Yeah.
So he fought middleweight, light heavyweight, and he's a heavyweight. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or maybe he's light heavy now, but he kind of. There's a lot of guys who go back and forth between heavy and light heavy. Right.
Yeah.
But we watched him kind of be a contender to, all right, he's a pretty good fighter, to this guy is winning this division all the time.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And if you looked at Anthony Merricks and said, hey, what's the one move, like, man, you better watch out for this thing, what would you say?
I don't know the one move.
Exactly. No, you said it right there.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I
you
don't
look
know.
at him and go, I don't know. All right.
Yeah.
And if you were like, if you were fighting Justin Ortiz, you'd be like, don't get kicked in the face.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
But if he's good. He doesn't have like this thing where you're like, watch out for that. But he can do everything. Right. And he's really solid. Now, if you let him into the fight, like, you're just asking for trouble. All right. Because he's improved so much every single year. He's making fewer and fewer mistakes. Like, if you allow him to have the option, you're just asking to get beat, because he's going to take advantage of it in some way, shape, or form. All right. And I'm really impressed by just how consistent he's been. And he's really, if you want to look at a guy who just loves martial arts and wants to be the best, and he's a great testament to.
So
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, right, where you're starting at. You can be the best by just hard freaking work, right? Yeah. And my competitor of the week is Anthony Merricks, the champion, Anthony Merricks.
All right. So now, I guess I'll have to go past now. So, I don't know if I've already mentioned this. I know I've talked about this person, but I don't think that they were my competitor of the week. So my competitor of the week is, I mentioned her just a second ago, Dottie White. So Dottie White was, let's see, from 98 maybe, or 97 maybe to 2000, really went to even 2004, 2005.
Yeah,
really the most consistent NASCA female women's fighter for a while. Like, she did all the NASCA tournaments. She won most of the grands. Now, did she lose to Nikki when Nikki was there? Yes.
Yeah.
Did she lose to some other people when they were there? Yes.
Yeah.
But she was the most consistent NASCA fighter for a long time, and she was a beast. She could punch the heck out of you. She was one of the most dominant punchers. And she had a good sidekick too, actually.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And strong, just really strong.
And she was one of the first ones that crossed over and tried to do something outside of sport karate. So she won I think it was the first or second women's tough woman competition. So do you remember the tough man do you remember the tough man competitions? You know, Butterbean winning all that, and where it was just like a brawl. She won that. Yeah, she won that. She was the smallest person, female, in that. She ended up beating pretty much the female version of Butterbean, Big Mama. It was live on pay-per-view. Yeah, this was in '99, and just whooped the crap out of her. It was crazy.
I gotta look on YouTube for this.
It was some of the craziest action. I remember, get her yet? Like, it was nuts. Some of the coolest fights I've ever seen. It was close, and she became a reputation of hitting late. She was the Damon Gilbert of women's division in some ways.
Speaking of that, I think what was it? It was like the Battle of Atlanta,
1999.
90. Was it 9 or 8?
It was 1999 because.
Tell me, go pick it up. Pick it up what I just laid.
Yeah, down. It was 99 because she was on Team Elite at the time. Her and Nikki Carlson.
Yep.
Are going back and forth. And it's really close, honestly. And this is Dottie's chance to really beat Nikki. And it's getting crazy. And every time Dottie hits her late, and it ends with Nikki bucking at her, and then she fights, and then it finishes with them two yelling at each other on stage and trying to swing at each other. It was crazy. It was nuts.
They weren't. It wasn't trying to swing. They just sat
they
there.
were. Yeah,
they just stood in front of each other, swinging on each other.
Again, Wally has it up. Go watch it.
Yes, that's another one. YouTube this stuff, people.
So, this is what, September, October, maybe September back then.
This was September.
It was September. So for some reason, Spencer and Coach Conroy thinks it's a cool idea to. Let's make these two teammates. This will be a good way to squash it. Spencer, it's not the same with guys, all right? With guys, yeah, we have an issue. We could be on a team.
Fight it out.
It'd be okay.
Go. All right, we good? We good?
Not
all right, we're good.
Not the same thing.
No.
Not the same. No. So that was just bound to kind of.
So you were in the midst of that. So how did that go down once they were teammates?
It didn't. So it lasted for a good 6 months, and then Dottie left. So, yeah, she just kind of felt like, hey, I was the top female fighter on the team. We were doing this and that. At the time, it was her, Stephanie, and
her meaning Nikki.
No, Dottie, Stephanie, and then also we had Chrissy Starkey.
Yes,
we would be doing team fighting, and then actually Deshaun B was actually on there.
Deshaun Bay, yeah.
Deshaun Bay decided not to join Team Elite and stay with us and go with Bam's team at the time,
which was fun.
Yeah, and so because she wanted to really just do NASCA, not really do NBL. So that was the team, right? So Dottie was on it. Then they're putting the most dominant female fighter ever on the team, and then adding Claire, who was also in there at Diamonds that year. It's just a different vibe, you know. But at the same time, we had 4 women. It was crazy when you really think about that, you know. And then there was 3 women teams in NBL, and it was a big deal. I mean, you're talking about going against, like I said, Tara and Regina every tournament. It was awesome, man. And there was a lot of other ones. Good ones team, like Liker had a good team. There were some other ones that had a good team, Smash. So, yeah, didn't last very long.
Wow.
But, yeah. So, but Dottie was a great teammate, a great person that I looked up to growing up. We were good friends. One of my favorite fighters to watch just because you knew it was going to be a fight. And she was consistent. She kept with it for a long time. And I'm just proud of her for all she's done. I know she was involved in the military for a while. And so just really cool, man. So Dottie White.
Dottie White. That was a good one, man. I like that one. So are we doing the trivia questions? We're not going to do the trivia questions this week?
I mean, I got one.
Oh, God.
I'm curious because you guys talked about the diamond so much, I had to look something up.
Oh,
okay. Go ahead.
So, who has the most diamond rings?
Man, what's it? It's kind of like, all right, it's a thing, but it's not really fair. It's Caitlin Deschelle. All right. It's Caitlin Deschelle and Nikki Carlson Lee. They both have 8.
But
so yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
Technically, What counts as a diamond? Do junior diamonds count?
They don't count.
No, I know, but they're listed on the site, right?
They should count. They're not actual diamonds. They're not diamonds.
What is
No,
it?
they're not listed on the sites.
Okay,
there's no diamond.
All right, I got you.
So my question is, does super fights count? Do they get a ring for the super fights?
They don't get it.
No, they don't get a ring. They
Because
get
if
that
they
little,
did, it would be different.
They get that
Yes, that's
little,
what I'm about to say.
yeah,
If they did,
it
it
would
would
be
be Ray by a
different.
mile.
Yeah.
Huh?
If they did, it'd be Ray by a mile.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, big time.
But
Yeah.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird.
They just get a trophy. They get a bit. Here's what's wild. The trophy.
What was it, like a acorn?
It's a glass trophy with an acorn top, and it's super heavy. Here's what's wild. So Hamid has a couple, right? And I remember thinking, and I was in his office once, and I held his trophy. I was like, man, this thing's freaking heavy. And then I went into his office the next time and goes, oh man, I want to pick up that trophy again. And he goes, no, don't touch it. And I'm like, why? And he goes, the acorn broke. I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah, someone was cleaning my office and they bumped it and broke the acorn off the top.
Oh man.
Well, that sucks.
Well, at least you got more than one, right?
Yeah. So they've each got 8.
Yeah.
Yes,
So it's
But
Caitlin
here's the
and
weird
Nikki.
thing.
Yep.
Nikki Carlson is actually the only undefeated competitor of the Diamond Nationals. She has entered the Diamond Nationals 8 times and has never lost a match.
It's insane.
What?
Yeah, I know. She's just a beast.
It's not fair, yet it is.
Yeah, and what, her first one was when she was, under 18 or just turned 18?
What was it? I don't know.
Yeah.
1990, so I don't know how old she was. So I'm not going
to she had just, we talked about this not too long ago. I think she had just turned 18, or she was about something like that. Yeah.
Maybe.
And same thing with Chelsea in her first one. She had just turned 18 as well. So.
Yeah.
Yep. Pretty cool, man. Yeah.
You got any other ones produced?
Nah, I wasn't thinking about it.
That's cool.
I
gotta figure that out. Right. I gotta get on that, and I gotta do the stuff with Willie's for Raw and Regina. Y'all really putting me to the test over here. All right.
All right.
That's okay.
Well, hey, we had a fun time.
Yeah.
Because and here's the deal. I want to get some more questions and things from people about this, because we could keep going more and more. We could do a part 2 on this because there's so many things, so many cool stories that I had from this year that, man. From 2000. Oh, yeah. One thing that was created in 2000 that we talked about once before.
What? Oh, yours. Yeah.
Intergalactic,
man.
So
many different the intergalactic.
But that was Diamonds 2000, man. So it was cool that year, and I talked about that moment, how that just kind of came out of nowhere, and that was fun.
No, speaking of your form, what year did you debut the machine gun kicks on your knee?
2009. 2009. Yep.
2009. All right.
Wait. Time out. Machine gun kicks meaning in a circle?
Yeah.
Or you mean no, in 2004 I did the side twist on my knee. Yeah, in creative. But in 2009 I did machine gun kicks in a circle, and then I did them backwards in that same year as well. So I did it one and then the other. Yeah. I think the video that Nick put up,
that's what made me think of
it was on there. Yeah.
When did you do that first?
Yeah, 2009. Yeah.
All right.
My knees have never been the same. So.
Dude, I looked at that when I watched you do that. Like normally when I see someone do impressive things, I'm like, wow, that's cool. When I watched you do that, I was like, my knees hurt a little bit watching that.
Yeah.
But this was a good one.
This
has been another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I'm Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. Let's see you guys next week.